Spaghetti with pancetta, white wine and tomatoes. It's a classic, but I'm going to put a slight twist on it by cooking my pancetta in white wine. It gives it such a wonderful flavour. So I'm going to be using this diced pancetta, so it just takes out one process. And I like that my pancetta has some fat on it. Fat equals flavour. You'll want this for this dish. So 150 grams of pancetta, and we're going to pop that into a pot and we'll cover that completely with white wine. Now we're just going to allow those flavours to mingle and essentially allow that pancetta to absorb some of that white wine flavour. Now while that's happening, let's get on to the onions. So we'll need a good glug of oil into a large pan. I'd say about 2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil, so lots of extra virgin olive oil. 1 onion that I'm going to dice. It doesn't have to be too small. We just want it to be actually quite chunky so we can see the onion in this dish. And in with our onion. We're just going to fry this for a few minutes along with a clove of garlic. I'm just going to slice the garlic. And we can add this at the same time as the onions. And tomato. So I'm using 2 varieties of tomatoes here. I've got some canned crushed tomatoes and some fresh cherry tomatoes. I like to cut my tomatoes in half, really exposing the centre of them. So we want about half a punnet of tomatoes for 2 people. We'll give our onions a toss. All right, that's looking good, so we can add our tomatoes. That bursting with juice. And a pinch of chilli. The chilli really depends on your palate. If you like lots of it, go for it. If you don't, just a small pinch. I haven't seasoned this yet, so a pinch of salt and some pepper. Give that a toss. All right, that's looking good. Now to the pancetta. Look at that. See how it's softened up nicely and a lot of that wine has evaporated. That smells so good. So I'm using a slotted spoon to remove the pancetta and we can add that to our dish now. And I don't want to use all of this wine. I just want a splash of it because it's done its job for softening that pancetta. Beautiful. Now we'll add the tomatoes. Again, give that a good stir. Now I'm going to turn this down to a medium to low heat and it's going to cook for about 5 to 6 minutes, which is just enough time to cook the pasta. If the packet says 8 minutes, cook your pasta for 1 to 2 minutes less than that so it is al dente because the pasta is going to cook in the sauce afterwards too. So half of this packet into some water, separate them, of course a good pinch of salt. And we'll just submerge that pasta in the water. Now we'll just wait for this pasta to finish cooking and then we're on the home stretch. Okay, this sauce is nice and thick. Pasta is al dente, so we're going to add it straight into the pan from the pot, allowing some of that starchy water to go in. I say this over and over again, but it really does make a difference to the end result. So we also need to add some of that starchy water. So just use a ladle to add, well, I'd say about half a ladle full. And then just going to toss that together to coat the pasta. And by tossing this pan, we're agitating the pasta and we're thickening the sauce. So each strand of pasta is going to absorb that sauce. Basil, lots of basil. We'll pop that in, tear it up, the big leaves, small leaves, leave as is. And this type of pasta dish loves pepper, pancetta and pepper, best mates. So good crack of pepper. Turn the heat off now. And one last toss. Delicious. Okay, to plate this up, I'm just going to grab a generous amount and I'm just going to twirl it in a ladle and then we're going to pop it onto our plate. Looks much neater like that. Then we'll grab our pancetta sauce and we'll pop that on the top. Finally, pecorino or parmesan. And if you know me, you know I love my cheese. So a good sprinkling of that. Pasta, it's my Achilles heel, what can I say? I love it. And this particular pasta sauce is in my top 5. If you haven't tried pancetta in white wine, give it a go. It is so good. It's enough talking, have to try this. I love it.